Good morning, guys. Okay, so I have to record this pod today because I woke up. It's just 9 o'clock in the morning. I woke up. I went on my IG account and I found out that Pete is back on Instagram with his friend. They made a common account. I'm so happy to know this, but I don't know how much and I don't know how long Pete will stay here back on Instagram, because I know it's very hard for him, but I hope he will stay. Hope in time that he could know about anything I spread on Instagram about him, anything I did for him, and yeah, that news made my day total. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Maybe this is the last chance I could have to, I don't know, let him know about my dedication, my love for him, and my wish of meeting him one day in Brooklyn or around New York or in Staten Island. I don't know what the fuck, but hope so bad that it could happen one day. And so now I have to record this podcast just because I was losing my hope the other day. I'm stumbling from going to New York, going back to Brooklyn or not. Maybe during these holidays could be not possible for me because I'm gonna have a little surgical intervention. So I hope that the hospital call me as soon as possible. But I could book a flight and go back in a while in Brooklyn if my mind would change again. But also, I've just recorded 4 episodes about Meet Pete Davidson, and this is the 5th one, and I hope that Pete Davidson could listen to it, even though I know he's not familiar, he's not so in love with podcasts, he doesn't always listen, or probably he doesn't listen to any kind of podcast, but hope that. And I just want to say that it could be a very special, this is also just if the account will remain with Ellie Manning. Hope it will stay for a long time. But I want him know that there's someone very, I don't know how to explain. It's so hard for me because I'm so vulnerable now. And I want that he knows that I like to spend a lot of funny time with him. Just listen to music, like for example Eminem or Kid Cudi or any kind of rap hip hop music he loved and I also love, and we could share a lot of shit like that together. Maybe walking around Brooklyn Bridge Bar, which is my favorite spot area in Brooklyn. And in the video they shared on YouTube right now, you could see the house of Pete Davidson in Brooklyn. You could see, oh my God, where the fuck is living now with these 2 friends. I or maybe just one friend, some Rex, and so I know exactly where he's living, and I don't know how calm I I can be right now that I know where exactly I could find Pete. Maybe just walking around his house. I don't know, because he's. I know there will be paparazzi everywhere, but yeah. I mean, I fell in love with Brooklyn, even though I didn't know that Pete would live there. I when I went to the Dino's Pizza during my last trip on Staten Island, I assumed that Pete were about to leave Staten Island, or probably Manhattan. I didn't remember what the his old football teacher told me. But and I also didn't wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe that he lived in Staten Island, because I was in Staten Island and I wanted to meet him, but I didn't find him because he was in Australia filming about with her. And so I don't know. Probably I could met Pete on the street, but I wasn't so aware because I know that he was in Australia, or maybe in Staten Island, but not there in Brooklyn. And I don't know how many times I walked through the Brooklyn Bridge. I walked to the Brooklyn Bridge Park. I walk around Dumbo, and I know that he's living in Dumbo. So, oh my God, this is very exciting. Yeah. And so it could be so easy to go back to Brooklyn and probably meet Pete. I don't know. He also explained that he can wait to going back to do stand-up comedian. And I know for sure that at the first date of his future tour of stand-up comedies, I could go to Brooklyn, or where he will decide to take his jokes. And yeah, one day we'll maybe wait for that moment. Yeah, I'm waiting for that moment like crazy. And yeah, but today I feel I got hope again, so thank you for deciding. I don't know even for how much time, but thank you for do that. So last night I watched this movie. I was waiting for this movie that some network could share, and find out that Prime Video had to meet cute. And also in Italian it was translated with Un giorno perfetto. Yeah. Or maybe Il giorno perfetto, I can't remember. Sorry, I just woke up. So sleepy. And I got to do a lot of things today with my mom around like vintage shops. And yeah. In the afternoon, I got to meet one of my friends. And yeah, we are on holidays today. And for other 3 days, I will do like nothing. Okay? I just wanted to go around, walk, and take time for my soul. I wanted to train a lot, maybe do some running and meditate and cook and clean my house and other things for myself and for my mental balance, and the things that makes me feel grounded. So I was telling you that I watched last night Made Cute. I don't know how many times I did watch that movie. So probably 3 or 4 times. One time in Italian, second time in English, and the English languages, and then I go back to English without subtitles, and then yeah, another time in English without subtitles, trying to repeat some jokes of it. And let me tell you that this movie is very particular. It's very, I don't know, funny, but it's complicated because, it's not so like when you watch the movie and you completely understand the plot. This is very hard to explain because there are a lot of situation, a lot of point in the movie in which you are literally confused by what happened, what things you could happen, and what you think it happened in the past. I don't know. I don't want to spoiler any kind of plot twist. So I just shut myself down and yeah, I highly suggest to watch this movie because the love story and especially the story of Sheila is very dramatic, and it makes me think about a lot about traumas, about what you have to deal with your past, and something that you even didn't know you had to live, but you lived. So you go straight on your years, you grow up, and then all the traumas, all the episodes change something in your mind, but you don't know. You don't know, and you will not know until you reprocess them, until you try to deal with them, until you try to solve them. And it's not so easy. But it's part of the process. You have to. And it's important. I also watched another docu movie directed by Jonah Hill. It was very, very interesting. And it was about... He directed the movie. And it was about the story and the therapy process he dealt with his psychiatric feel stopped. I didn't remember the exactly name of him, but feel stopped. It could be the also the title of the docu movie. It's half an hour, 1 hour and a half long, and it's so dramatic. It makes me cry in the end, cause Jonah got to explain that he is in process, and he's been in process for a long time with this man, special man for him, like when he lost his brother, and also the the professionist is in therapy with psychologist, but it's also a psychotherapist. So he also lost his brother when he was young. So they have in common this loss of the brother, and they have to deal with that in their life. But Jonah decided to go to the studio of this psychologist, and then or psychiatrist, but the psychologists feel stuffed, wanted to become a doctor, and he had to, because his father, when they lost the young brother, the father told to Phil, to his son, that he got to become a doctor if he wanted to be respected by him. So he didn't have any other choices than to study and become a doctor. And he became a doctor. And then he take this grade in psychology and psychiatric studies. And so, yeah, but he got to deal with Parkinson at a very young age. He discovered he got Parkinson probably around 25 or 30 years old. So he's dealing with that ill for a long time. But Jonah decided to record these and direct this docu-movie, because he wanted people could use all these tools, all these kind of tools he created for healing, and he wanted that everybody needs some help could use them. For example, one of the tools he explained and he used in therapy, and it was right for him, it was to accept. It's very weird and maybe like something egoistic, but it's something I firmly believe in, because I don't know, but 1 year ago I found myself thinking about it and rethinking about how I could deal with that. So I was thinking about the loss. One day probably unfortunately we have lost our parents, or one of them, or both, I don't know. But it's something that everybody got to deal with, that tragedy, with that drama one day in our life. Because, it's life. We are younger than our parents, and even though it could happen that maybe daughters or sons could die for accident, for, I don't know, so heavy ills, important ills before their parents. But normally parents die before the daughter and their sons. So I was thinking about how I could deal with that. I am lucky because me and my sister got both of our parents, still got both of our parents. And this is not valid also for our parents, but also for our friends and people who could really love. So I was dealing with that question in my mind. How could I live without my parents? How could I accept my parents one day will die? I will die too. I know. It is something so strong. It is something so, I don't know, sad to deal with that. It's so dramatic. But you have to one day. And I was thinking about, but there is no anyone. There is no fucking anyone that when you are like young makes you aware about it. And it's very important, I think. So I was trying to imagine that if in the next years, I would grow without feeling apart from my parents, but or friends, but I have to change. I could have the chance to change the vision in which I saw them, with which I related to them. I could probably accept more the loss. One day they could disappear. I don't know if I'm explaining in the right way. It's so hard to explain. Let me tell you, it's not something easy. So I have to, it's so hard because you know, you love your parents, you want to spend a lot of time with them. So it's not just being apart from them. You have to see them. It's probably easier with your friends, but it's not so easy. You have to deal with them or you have to feel them and treat them like there's something or someone you could live without them. It's very hard to say. It's very, weird to say. But I think that in this way we could suffer a little bit less when the tragedy would happen. And in fact, in this docu-movie, I was so in sync with this theory of the psychiatrist, because he explained that, the psychologist explained that you have to be prepared of the loss of someone special for you, or something that is special for you and you don't want to lose at all. Trying to feel that there's someone you could relate, you could live without them, without being on a sort of dependence with them. You know what I mean? It's very hard to explain, a motherfucker. But yeah, yes, it is. And another things, important things, and it's something I'm trying to deal with that since I was probably 25 years old, and it was about, you have to, in order to be in balance with yourself, you first have to be in balance with your body. So you have to take a lot of time for free time for yourself, doing for example, any kind of sports, and you have to be active. You have to do any kind of sport that makes you feel strong and brave and healthy. You have to follow a healthy diet. Then you got the second step on the pyramid, and you got the deal with other people. Okay, so you got to deal with your body, with other people, because it's important you've been surrounded about people, with people in your life. They save you. You have to do a lot of friends, or probably not a lot, but special ones and important ones. And then in the first floor of the pyramid, you got to deal with yourself, with your mind, with your ego, with your So you have to live in balance with 3 dimensions, with these 3 tools. Sorry, my voice is going I don't know where. And there were a lot of other tools explained in the docu-movie, and they were both interesting, but I just wanted to stop on the loss of someone, because it's very important for our mental health, for our balance, for our life. Because if someone is dealing with that since he was a baby, since he was young, and I know Pete Davidson lost his father in the 9/11 tragedy, I feel he was so young. He was like probably 8 or 9 years old. He was so young. And no one, when you're young, tell you that one day you could probably lose your father or your mother. But for uncertainly, and other things that the physiotherapeutic or psychologist or what the fuck what it was says that you have to live and to deal with 3 certain things during your whole fucking life, which is pain, uncertainty, and you have to work hard. So these 3 tools, these 3 things are something you cannot be free of them, right? You have to deal with that. So it's something you have to process in your life, and you have to struggle with that. Without them, you could not feel completely alive. And let me tell you what I was explaining about Pete. I wish to this guy to find peace in a very balanced way. When you're so young, I was explaining, going back to this topic, that no one tell you that you are about to lose one of your parents, even though if it is the father or the mother. You're not prepared. So your mind, without knowing, from that moment, would have to deal with that. Until you process that, you will live, you were like tortured by that. In your mind, in your body, in your soul, in your energy, everything will change. From that moment, it will not be the same. So you have to, what other options you could have? It's not so easy. You could, I know it's very simple for a guy probably to take dangerous way. And for example, being dependent on drugs, alcohols, or something like that. And if you are not able to deal with that because you don't want that nobody helps you, in the meantime, this shit is working in your mind. When you grow up, you have to deal with that at a certain point in your life in order to become balanced. Because when you grow, you take this on your background. You don't know that you got this. You don't know how this is working on your mind, soul, and body. And it will change you in a bad way. So you have to deal with that at a certain point in your life. Take this out. Deal with that. Struggle with that. You don't have to be afraid of doing that. You have to be helped by people, and you don't have to be afraid to ask help, to find or to looking for help in people, and feel free to do that. And I'm talking to other people who now are listening to this, are listening to my podcast and are struggling with something in their life. Feel free to ask people any help you need to, right? Do that. Don't be afraid to do that. I'm also about to do that. It's important for our mind, our balance, our health. So I know Pete is dealing with that. I'm so happy because I hope that one day he could be I don't know, it's not possible to be free of that drama, the trauma, because the trauma remains in you, the trauma will not leave you, but it will change the way you could deal with that, you could see with that. Okay, so you will find other special things that you could share, or other people you could share with it. And let me tell you, Pete, I'm one of these people. If you let me, I would like to share a lot of time with you, special time with you. No, like Sheila did with Gary, but let me tell you, I would like to sing a lot of songs together. I know we are in love with Eminem songs, Kid Cutie songs. I also painted this pair of trousers I wanted to give to you, even though they're so short and small for you, but probably you could, I don't know, maybe take on your bedroom. And because when, yeah, it's also therapeutic for me recording this podcast, because I know I'm talking to Pete, even though Pete is not listen to me, but it's so therapeutic because I know that probably one day it gives me chance. Okay, so I know that like one day probably like Pete will listen to it, and probably, yeah, we'll be connected with him. I don't know in what ways. Probably this new account on Instagram with Elimani. I don't know. I'm so excited. But okay, and then we got to deal with a lot of things, because I know how that trauma affects his life. And the fuck, I'm so hungry. I wanted to have breakfast a lot, but I got to maybe do a walk around my city. I don't know. So can't wait to go back on Brooklyn as soon as fucking possible. But meanwhile, I got to, yeah, tell you that I like to spend a lot of time, even one day when we will meet. And so, yeah, this is for you, Pete. I like to, I don't know, it was so therapeutic for me also when I was painting to, I don't know, I'm talking, yeah, for 30 minutes I got to shut my mouth. So let me explain just one last thing, and then I go out of my bed. So it was so therapeutic for me also painting, going back I did that for like 1 month, mostly every fucking evening. I spent painting on my white jeans for you, the cover of the album of Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon. Always listen to the album when I was painting, and it was so therapeutic because I was dreaming about you, our maid, and so I got to, yeah, I want to spend a lot of time with you. We could share a lot of positive, and we could share a lot of positive energy and vibration, simply walking around Brooklyn or whatever you want. I just walked for 200 miles in my last trip on holidays, and my last holidays on New York last August. And I spent 2 weeks, like probably 20 days around New York. I went on Staten Island. I went on Brooklyn. I spent a lot of time in Brooklyn Bridge because it's my favorite spot area. And I don't know, probably next time we will meet. I don't know. Hope that. So bye, and yeah, I will give you updates very soon. Bye.